Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to reading negative audience reviews on Metacritic about the Odyssey. Let's get to it. Okay. A zero from Palu Kotis. Nolan's Odyssey, a $250 million cinematic fraud. So, this is how he'll title the essay. Let's get one thing straight from the very beginning. This movie is the Odyssey in name only. Even a cheap History Channel documentary has better production value than this monstrosity. Okay, so we're already calling Nolan a hack. Christopher Nolan apparently didn't even bother to read Homer's epic. Despite the fact, how do you know that? Why do you have his Goodreads? Despite the fact that it has been around for 3,000 years. Okay. Period. No space. Here are the reasons why this film is a monument to failure. This is dramatic. You should write the Odyssey. 2 hours where absolutely nothing happens, scene after scene. Okay, 2 hours of the Odyssey where nothing happens. Could you imagine reading it and being like pacing yourself and being like, when's it gonna get to the good part? Like, could you imagine sitting in a theater and be like, I want them to stop talking, but bring on the babes, bring on the sirens, bring the Cyclops out with sparklers. The plot stubbornly refuses to move forward. Okay. The movie is unbearably, lethally boring. Not epic, not grand, just one endless yawn. Okay, we need examples, Polycotus. Well, apparently nothing happens, so we can't have examples in this essay. And as if that weren't enough, it is also visually ugly. Where did the aesthetics go? Oh man, that cinematographer is loading the gun as we speak. Where did the aesthetics and the cinematographer of Interstellar go? First of all, why did Interstellar like poison the minds of the film community? Because in all honesty, I would say that that's probably Nolan's weakest film. Crucify me. Um a lot of fluff. But anyway, okay. I love Nolan, but yeah, Interstellar was fluffy. Here, everything looks cheap, as if the costumes were bought at a last minute from a local Halloween store. I like that that's the go-to insult for like historical costumes because we're so familiar with how they look that anything is gonna look like a like a cheap recreation of it. So to say, these images that we're familiar with are actually taking away from the film is stupid. Like, what did you want? What did you want? And he wanted them to go to a different Halloween store. Okay, number two. What was I talking about? The Odyssey. The slaughter of 90% of the story. The structure of the original work is based on Odysseus narrating his adventures to the Phaeacians and King Alcinous, asking for help to return to Ithaca. Nolan, however, decided to be original. How dare he? He had Odysseus narrate all of this to Calypso instead. What a fucking bitch. Why'd he do that? Maybe because it would have been boring to hear the story narrated by him. And voiceover is like not for this film. Nolan, yeah, okay. Who is Calypso here? Forget the beautiful ethereal goddess who held him captive for 7 years. You're a freak. She is presented as a homeless, ragged woman wearing fishing nets and living in a wretched shack. See, this is why I read these, because this is fucking poetry. Whereas, right, Homer needs to revive from the dead and get a Metacritic account, because this guy's stealing your thunder. Um, Homer describes her as a living in a majestic, heavenly, something for the expected mythical elements. Circe, Hades, the sirens, they have all vanished. False. Okay. This person wanted to see representations of hell, and he wanted to see naked mermaid chicks calling him out to sea. Irrelevant flashbacks from Troy invade the screen. Okay. As if the director forgot which movie he was shooting. Interesting. Okay. Amateur mistakes and script writing crimes, logical gaps, and blunders succeed one another. Where are the script writing crimes? Tell them so that we can put them on trial and jail them to prevent them from ever hurting the world again. Um, Blunder, yeah, okay. Argus, the dog, he this man loves dogs. He appears as a puppy at the beginning and as an elderly dog at the end, but he isn't even the same breed. How the fuck did you notice that? Such a simple detail, and they couldn't get it right. The Cyclops and the Lost Meaning. Polyphemus is presented merely as a slow moving giant in a cave. Although Odysseus' companions have weapons, they do not use them. False. They do use them. They're also running for their lives in a dark cave that's filled with sheep. So you try being a shepherd for a day. With one eye, the Cyclops simply screams on the beach. Oh wait, no, here we go. Yeah, the worst part, the legendary trick with the name Nobody, perhaps the most famous wordplay in word mythology, has been completely omitted. Okay, well, if it's the most famous wordplay, why haven't I heard of it? The Cyclops simply screams on the beach. Odysseus never reveals his true identity. I am Odysseus, son of Laertes, and thus Poseidon's curse is never triggered. Okay, well, the curse remained in the realm of did it not happen? Okay, so outright stating it probably works better in written form than on screen. Um, okay, with a single move, Nolan wiped out the entire meaning of the 10-year journey. The absence of the gods, an Odyssey without the divine intervention of Poseidon. Sorry, reading this is really hard because this grammar and writing is out of control. But it's still very funny because these people scream with their whole chest and they don't know anything about criticism. An Odyssey without the divine intervention of Poseidon, Athena, and Zeus is just an empty story. Right. Well, I don't know the Odyssey well enough to comment on your boner for historical accuracy, but the director decided to cut them out completely. Okay, sorry. They're, they were all mentioned, so he didn't. Non-existence performance. That's really tragic to hear, honestly. Non-existent performances and tragic casting. Matt Damon just stands there expressionless in a ridiculous costume, reciting lines without a trace of emotion. He is an empty shell on screen. I really love people who criticize but could never in a million fucking years. And I know, like, there's the argument, well, I'm allowed to have things I like and dislike about things, but I also think that there is a time and place to insert your knowledge on, like, a craft, and this person doesn't know anything about acting because I'm sure this person has never acted in anything. So to insult Matt Damon is like, I'll go to bat for the guy. The guy did an amazing fucking job. And someone who is commenting on the fact that he is in a Halloween costume, not being able to emote is it's just kind of nearsighted and poor analysis. Anne Hathaway as Penelope is a monument to failed casting. Okay, here's somebody who hates women. Because anybody who dislikes Anne Hathaway for absolutely no reason is just an asshole who hates women, in my opinion. With the chemistry between her and Damon being below zero. Did you see the tears in her eyes? Did you see the sense of reconciliation when they reconnected? This is hilarious. Their characters are so with the chemistry between her and Damon being below zero, their characters are so indifferent that by the end you don't even care if they live or die. Okay. Why weren't you compelled by the hero's journey? Okay, I want to sit you down and shake you and be like, this is an okay film, at least. Okay, yeah. By the end, they don't even care if they live or die. Holland is barely saved solely because he has that permanently lost look that evokes pity. Poor Tom Holland, as somebody who actually dove into the role and gave himself depth. He did more than puppy dog sad eyes, Mister. Zendaya's appearance is entirely superfluous and contributes absolutely nothing to the plot. I'm just not gonna comment because this person doesn't like women, and this person happens to be a black woman. Okay, 5. A finale that is. This is the last part. 5. A finale that is a total betrayal in the epic. Odysseus exterminates the suitors. The finale also was the catharsis of the film. After we see this guy have to recount how he has lost the love of his life and how he returned to her, and the other people who are getting in the way of trying to take power or control away from people who want to welcome guests and take care of them, because isn't that the moral of the Odyssey and like the moral of like that society is like treat guests in your home as you would like to be treated, right? Um, yeah, Odysseus exterminates the suitors to the last man, bringing catharsis and justice. Okay, here, question mark. Half of the suitors simply kneel. Odysseus forgives them, and right after that, he tells Penelope, "Come on, let's sail for the unknown and let Telemachus rule." This is a movie that does not respect the source material, does not respect the hero, does not respect history in capital letters. This person has an armband in the closet and certainly does not respect the Greek taxpayer, as part of the filming was funded by domestic subsidies. The verdict: don't watch it, don't waste your money. Um, I just want to say that if you have a problem with something and you don't like it, you're allowed to disagree, but you are not allowed to blindly flail and insult the work and determination of people who are actually pretty good at their craft. And I know that this is just one Metacritic comment and it's just one review, but this happens more than we would hope. And maybe one day people can learn to keep their mouth shut if they understand that they don't know what they're talking about. But they won't, because humans, and until the end of time, we will gab and gab about what we don't know anything about, including me. So thank you very much for listening.